Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Now before we get into it, I want to give a heartfelt condolences to the Bryant estate, as well as the other families who were lost on a tragic day. I think it was January 26, 2020. Sincerest prayers and thoughts are with you all, and I hope you are all doing as well as possibly can be. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back on the channel, and I have probably what is one of the most special shoes in my collection, if not the most special shoes in my collection. Let's go ahead and pop this box open and see what we got inside. Pulling out the box, we have a size tag that reads black and white, simple and plain, and we'll get into why it's black and white in a minute. Kobe 6 Protro. As you can see, a plain black box with the Mamba insignia in that nice glossy finish, with Kobe Bryant's signature right beneath it. Just a plain white wax paper. Ladies and gentlemen, I am extremely honored and pleased to bring to you the Nike Kobe 6 Protro Mambacita Sweet 16. There is so much to talk about this shoe, I do not even know where to begin. I'm going to go ahead and try and give you a little bit of background about the shoe before we talk about the controversy that surrounded the shoe and why this shoe is extremely special to me personally. First and foremost, as I mentioned, this is a Kobe 6 Protro. Now, what does a Protro mean? So prior to his untimely death, when Kobe's shoes re-retroed, he wanted to ensure that they came back with modern, up-to-date tech specs. That's essentially why you get the name Protro, a retro with up-to-date professional tech. And so for that reason, in addition to his amazing Hall of Fame legendary legacy, is the reason why I think the Kobe is one of the most worn shoes by current athletes today. By today's metrics, the Kobe 6 is one of the most worn shoes by players in the NBA. I believe the era of the low-cut shoe was first introduced by the Kobe 4, which I could be mistaken, but definitely the Kobe 6 is one of the most popular, hands down. So you must forgive me because when it comes to Kobe's, I do not have the biggest knowledge base. So on the bottom, the traction pattern actually looks like shed snake skin. You know, when a snake comes out of its skin and leaves that shedding behind, and it kind of has that translucent, scary look to it. That's exactly what this looks like to me, which makes sense. On the top, you had that nice, smooth, clean snake skin pattern on it, which I think is a nice little touch. In the middle of the shoe, it seems to be a carbon fiber shank plate, which no doubt adds to lightness as well as stiffness and rigidity for on-court performance. Of course, the Kobe logo right there on the heel, and what I believe to be a full-length Zoom Air unit is throughout the entire shoe. Even when I push here on the bottom, as well as feel the midsole, this nice black midsole, everything feels real soft and real comfortable. I can imagine playing in this shoe. Coming up to the upper, the base material looks like either a neoprene or a mesh material that is adorned with the snakeskin pattern. Now this gloss snakeskin pattern is very nice and is synonymous with the Kobe 6. Goes without saying, Kobe, the black mamba snakeskin pattern, you get the deal. The white Nike swoosh is actually painted over this upper material, so you can see where there's some little jaggies and little parts that's just not quite straight and sharp lines, but that's pretty cool and it gives it a nice, unique look to the shoe. On the back is this white spongy leather material, which is a nice little touch and gives it a form of elegance that's really nice and adds to the dopeness of the shoe, which is surrounded by this black plastic upper, which no doubt is for stability and control. Again, the tongue, I believe, is a nice mesh material with a flat rope lace that goes all the way up to the top that is right there with that Nike Kobe logo. I'm going to try to zoom in here, or at least catch it with the B-roll. There are some dot patterns that are down on the midsole, and I have no idea what they mean, and I wish someone would be able to tell me down in the comments. If you are a big Kobe fan, or at least a big Kobe shoe fanatic, please let me know what these dots mean. On the front of the toe, it looks like it says to me Venomenon, almost like it's saying Venom and Phenomenon put together, Venomenon. I could be mistaken, but hey, someone in the comments let me know if I got that right. On the sock liner, as well as the back of the tongue, you just have an inverse little colorway where it looks like a white base with black printed scales to mimic the continuation of the scales on the upper of the shoe. That being said, I will talk about sizing. If I were you, I would absolutely positively go up either a half size or a full size in the Kobe's. Now again, I'm normally a Jordan guy. This was my first Kobe shoe and I had no idea. I got the shoes on feet and they were, fairly tight. And that's okay because the shoe is fairly comfortable with regards to the Zoom Air unit as well as the surrounding material. Just know they're a little tight. That's pretty much it by and large for what makes this shoe a Kobe 6 Protro. Now again, the theme of the shoe is Mambacita, Sweet 16. And the reason why this shoe is really so important to me is because I actually have two daughters, and one of my daughters is actually named Gigi. So needless to say, at the time of his death, there was a lot going on with what Kobe Bryant was doing, being a girl dad. Now I'll dig some more into that later on, but let's get into the touches that make this shoe a tribute to Gianna Bryant. Another little thing we'll dig into later on is that Vanessa Bryant actually designed this shoe as a tribute to memorialize her daughter Gianna. The number 2 was Gianna's basketball jersey number as she played basketball in high school, and the black and white motif were her team colors. Vanessa also added the Mambacita logo to it, with both Kobe and Gigi's name on the back heel tab. On the interior, there is the Mambacita logo that Vanessa Bryant designed. As you can see, it is the number 2 with the halo and wings, signifying everything that Vanessa Bryant wanted to commemorate her daughter by putting this logo in here. The consumer pair only has a black spare pair of laces, and I'll talk more about that a little bit later on. So depending on your perspective, there was some either major or minor controversy surrounding the release of this shoe. Now, prior to his death, Kobe was wrapping up a 5-year contract with Nike. And before he had a chance to re-up that contract, he wanted to make sure that certain criteria were met. Now, namely, and this is a problem that a lot of people are having these days, even pre-pandemic, but Kobe's shoes were constantly selling out, and they felt like that Nike was not doing enough to get their shoes in the hands of people who wanted them. They were of the mindset that Nike was not making enough pairs and making it too difficult for Kobe's fans to really have them. Unfortunately, an agreement was not met, and Vanessa did not re-up the contract that year. Now, at that time, until an agreement could be met, all Kobe products were to be halted from being assembled and produced by Nike. In addition to that, the Bryant family felt like the lifetime contract that Nike was going to extend to Kobe was not in line with some of the other contracts that Michael Jordan and LeBron James were having. So when the contract negotiations fell through, the Bryant estate was essentially free to negotiate with whomever they wanted to at that time, especially considering the Bryant estate owns the Mamba logo as well as his signature. To make things worse, I believe this shoe was actually designed sometime in the summer of 2020. After Vanessa Bryant designed the shoe and the contract negotiations fell through, this shoe wasn't supposed to be produced. So somehow, some way, this shoe was actually developed and produced without Vanessa Bryant's notification and approval. So at that point, and rightfully so, she was absolutely furious and demanded that Nike come up with an explanation. And when no explanation could be found, things kind of hit the wall. Ill-advised or not, she actually went ahead and brought to fruition the plan that her and her late husband had all along to maybe start the Mambacita Foundation. And in the Mambacita Foundation, they were going to sell their own apparel and possibly their own shoes all along. So some people think that she mishandled the way the apparel was actually rolled out. So although all proceeds were due to go to the Mambacita Foundation, she was releasing apparel that was costing $100, $200, $300 a pop, far more than your average consumer would want to spend. And in a lot of people's opinion, negated the very thing she was trying to do, which was to get his apparel and his legacy into the hands of people. Flash forward, however, and cooler heads have prevailed, and Nike and Vanessa Bryant and their estate have reached a formal agreement to continue on with the line of Kobe Bryant shoes. The first shoe to be released post-agreement was the Kobe 6 Mambacita Sweet 16. As far as a rollout of this shoe was very limited in its release. I always say there's a difference between limited and hard to get. I don't know how many quantities of this shoe was made, but I can tell you the rollout was absolutely tough for people to get their hands on. There were a select number of boutiques and retailers in the Los Angeles area who allowed you to come in and get the raffle for these shoes. And then there was exclusive access only given to people on Sneakers app. And that is where this particular pair came from. Now, that being said, the Sneakers app experienced a glitch where people who were given exclusive access had very difficult time trying to even check out. Thankfully, I was not one of those people, and the shoe makes its way here today. So earlier I talked about some of the packaging. Vanessa Bryant, obviously being the widow of the late great Kobe Bryant, received a special care package from Nike themselves. If I'm not mistaken, that box came with a white colored cover with gold logos all over it. The side of the box was a red wristband as well as a red spare pair of laces that both say Sweet 16 on them. When Vanessa Bryant posted that to her Instagram story, naturally everyone thought that's how the shoes came. Now again, hindsight being 2020, it's absolutely understandable why that shoe and that packaging wasn't made to the mass release. I mean, this is fine for us. This is what Kobe fans deserve. We should not be getting the same thing as Vanessa Bryant. As I mentioned, this shoe is special to me because Kobe Bryant was one of the most fiercest competitors that ever laced them up. Now, of course, that's not my reality, but one of the things I was looking forward to the most was Kobe Bryant post-retirement. Kobe Bryant was blazing a trail of being a girl dad, being a father to his daughters that I think could have set an inspiration and example for men everywhere. The things he was doing with his daughters off the court were very reminiscent of his tenacity and fire and passion he played with on the court. As a father of 2 girls myself, I was very much looking forward to the things that Kobe was going to do to show us an example of fatherhood. And if I'm being honest, especially as Black fathers, it's very important to show that kind of love in our community. And the part that really gets me is I flash forward to my own daughter's Sweet 16, my own Gigi, and it just goes to show you how short life can really be. You never know when it's your time to go. And what you want to do is make sure that you leave a lasting legacy and impact on those who are around you and those people who you have an actual influence on. So for Kobe to be able to do that in the only 41 years he was here, he deserves all the credit in the world. We will absolutely miss him for the things he was doing on and off the court. So I hope and pray that Vanessa Bryant will continue to let his legacy live on, and I hope they flesh out some of the things that I'm sure they talked about in their most intimate moments. So I believe he had 2 other daughters, and I hope that they understand that their father was really trying to blaze a trail for them, and I hope they appreciate and honor that, and respect and honor their sister's legacy too, for all the days to come. Although the release was limited, Nike did honor their agreement to go ahead and donate all the proceeds to the Mambacita Foundation. Typically, I would talk about the resale market because it's my duty to inform the viewers about what's going on with the shoes at the time. But in this particular case, I believe I'm going to abstain from that. You know, everyone has access to Google. Everyone has access to a computer and a phone. You know where to find resale prices if you want them. Just know that this shoe will never get resold and it's staying home right here with me. In addition to that, just to make sure I totally destroy the resale value, I'm about to go outside, put these guys on feet, and give you guys a look at the Kobe 6 Protro Mambacita Sweet 16. Thank you guys for being here with me this evening. Thank you guys for listening to my story and sharing this journey with me. Until the next one, I'm J Shoe Fanatic. I'm out of here. Let's go. Oh, the original cut. There it absolutely is. I might like it better than the 2020 version. So, and I had to have